It began in Africa.
Yeah,
We are controlling transmission.
yeah, yeah,
How do you say?
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
Hello and welcome to Afrospace with me, Adetunji Omotola. Afrospace, as you know, is an online weekly show that appears on YouTube, and we cover stories around politics, economics, and lifestyle on the African continent. And we're particularly focused on the trajectory that they talk about, the Africa we want. The Agenda 2063 is what we're about. And so today we are joined by the CEO of Access Bank South Africa, Bennie van Rooy. And Bennie van Rooy has got massive experience in the banking sector. He's been with the Land Bank as CFO of the Land Bank in South Africa. He's also worked for the JD Group, as well as ABSA and the Road Accident Fund. Before becoming the CEO of Access Bank South Africa, Bennie was the CEO of Grobank, which the focus was on agriculture. Now, Bennie has moved up one notch to be the CEO of Access Bank South Africa, which is part of the Access Bank Group. Welcome to Afrospace, Bennie.
Thank you very much. It is indeed an honor and privilege to join you today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining us too. Now, Bennie, your bank, Access Bank South Africa, it's an interesting story. Firstly, it's the first African African-owned bank in South Africa. And the vision of your top management is that you want to be not only the gateway into Africa, but you want to be the most respected African bank on the continent. Now, in view of all of that, what is your take of these ideals, and how do you feel about the acquisition that has now made you the first African bank in South Africa?
Well, obviously proud. It's a unique banking space, is very competitive, as we all know. One of the most sophisticated banking sectors in Africa, without trying to sound superior in any shape or form. But there are a few big banks trading in this country. And 4 of the 5 biggest banks in Africa trades in South Africa. 6 of the 10 largest banks in the continent trades in Africa. But what makes this transaction unique is the fact that it's the first time, as I mentioned, that an African-owned bank acquires a controlling stake in a South African bank. Usually we have seen the past South African banks venturing into the continent with various levels of successes, trying to use South Africa as a base. And there's no reason why the Access Bank story and the success story of Access Bank won't continue in South Africa. The Access Bank Group sees South Africa as a key banking sector in the African puzzle, to truly be the gateway to Africa. South Africa is a key market that Access Bank requires a presence, and there's so much room in South Africa for Access Bank and Access Bank Group to be successful by offering the products and solutions that Access Bank is already offering to Nigerians and many Africans across the continent. And I'm really looking forward to this journey to see what difference the group can make in the South African banking space.
Now, Bennie, can you give us a sense of the challenges you think that is currently being faced by the South African banking sector, especially given the COVID-19 pandemic, and also to talk to your bank and to give us a sense whether those challenges affect you as well, if at all?
So as you've pointed out, South Africa has been badly hit by the COVID pandemic, probably the country in Africa that's been the worst hit by the pandemic. We're currently experiencing our third wave. Our president announced a national lockdown on Sunday evening for 2 weeks, or level 4, which means limited travel. It means a ban on public gatherings, a ban on the sale of alcohol, So there are a number of restrictions. Temporarily, we would expect that the curve would be flattened as it's expressed in COVID terms, and that economic activity will return again and continue again in the not too distant future. But the economy has been badly hit by the COVID pandemic. There's no doubt that there's been a major recession, increase in unemployment, lack of economic activity. Now, from a banking perspective, that clearly spells one thing, and that's an increase in non-performing loans or potential bad debts. So all the banks in South Africa, including ourselves, would be grappling with increases in non-payments or non-performing loans. We were grappling with where the next growth area is, because banks generally support the economy. If there's growth in the economy, banks can increase their credit, can increase their credit extension and support so many consumers and businesses. So we're grappling with the same concerns. I mean, last year, we extended payment moratoriums to roughly half our customers. The bank was more of a SMME or commercial bank. We didn't have any retail customers, but we had to extend payment moratoriums to more than half or roughly half our customer base. And those customers who operated in industries that were really badly impacted by the pandemic, such as the hospitality industry, certain retail industries, guest houses, transport and logistics, and so forth. And we were quite pleasantly surprised by once the payment moratoriums were lifted and customers started paying again, the economy started recovering again. We were quite pleasantly surprised by the payment behavior of our customers. But every time that there is a national lockdown, or every time that there is an extended impact of the pandemic, obviously the economy will battle, and it will take longer for the economy to start to recover. So therefore, we have to look at, as Access Bank South Africa, at opportunities that present themselves to us. And there are a number of opportunities that we would really want to take advantage of. The first being that there's no real bank in South Africa focusing or specializing in the diaspora or African-based immigrants making South Africa their home. So we truly want to be the natural home for everybody making a living in South Africa, irrespective of whether this individual would be a South African or a non-South African. There are lots of sad issues in South Africa, like xenophobia, that has been well publicized over the recent past. But we want to break that notion, and we want to be a truly African bank, and so support every African making South Africa their home, including South Africans and non-South Africans. That's the first opportunity that will present themselves to us. We've never had retail branches. We're going to start with launch a retail infrastructure, open a few branches. By the end of this year, we'll hopefully have 4 branches operational, and then expand our branch network in the future, either through an acquisition or through further opening of further branches. Then the second part, where there's clearly an opportunity, is to support businesses trading across the continent. In the Access Bank language, these clients are referred to as one bank customers. One example, a South African example, would be the mobile operator MTN, with operations across the continent, and many of the jurisdictions Access Bank would be the primary bank. So we would want to support customers trading across the continent. Our biggest trading partners in the agricultural space, as an example, in South Africa, is still the rest of the continent. The majority of our exports are still exported to the continent. And we want to identify those customers and support them with import-export financing, trade finance facilities, commodity finance facilities. And then we can also support other African banks operating in South Africa, where we can be their rand clearing partner, their ZAR clearing partner, from a correspondent banking license. So those are 3 areas, new areas, that we would like to focus on. Retail from a diaspora point of view, supporting businesses operating across the continent, correspondent banking relationships for other African banks operating either in South Africa or want a rand clearing partner in South Africa. Also other banks operating in jurisdictions where Access Bank already has presence. And then that's on the new business opportunity. And on the existing business lines, we have quite a unique alliance banking solution, which is effectively partnership banking. That's where we enable non-banks to offer bank-like products to their customers. So if a mobile company wants to offer a bank account to their customer, we will enable that on our platform. If a retailer wants to offer bank accounts to their customers, who wants to start getting involved in payments and transmittances, we will provide the banking platform. That's also a strong growth area which we've already launched and rolled out in South Africa, and we can roll that out the rest of the continent as well. And we're quite confident that it will be a success story. But we have to be conscious of the local economic environment in South Africa, the residing environment, understand that the COVID-19 had a devastating impact on the South African economy, and it will take time for the economy to recover, but that doesn't take away from the opportunities that we have that will present themselves that we can take advantage of.
Okay. Now, Bennie, you've been CFO of the Land Bank and CEO of Grobank, and now obviously with the acquisition, you're now CEO of Access Bank South Africa. What skills and experience are you bringing to this new role? Because obviously you are now going to a different market. Grobank was agricultural focused. What skills and experience do you bring to this new role?
Look, I think the first observation I want to make is that very few banking products are unique. We all, as banks, offer the same products. A loan is a loan, a transactional account is a transactional account. So the only true competitive advantage lies in your people, the people that service the customers and that engage face to face with all the various clients that we have. So Grobank as a bank, and the history of the bank stretches back more than 7 decades. The bank was established in the 1940s as a Greek community bank, traded under the name South African Bank of Athens. Then subsequently was rebranded to Grobank. So the bank changed from a Greek community bank to Grobank, and you've made the point being more focused on the food, value chain, agricultural space, becoming a agricultural community bank to now a different community bank. Now we want to focus on African communities living in South Africa, operating across the continent. So what do we bring to the party is that relationship angle, that understanding of what's a community bank. And the community bank is more than just providing products and solutions to customers. It's becoming a genuine partner that enables the customers, whether retail or wholesale customers, to improve their lifestyle, to contribute towards social upliftment, financial inclusion, and so forth. And that's the unique skill that the bank brings to the Access Bank Group and to the South African sector, where we are quite in tune with understanding the importance of relationships, understanding the value that good, solid, old customer service brings to clients. And with that as a basis and with the products and solutions we can offer, significantly expanded by the Access Bank acquisition and introducing Access Bank's products to the South African market, will enable us, in my view, to be quite successful in rolling out our intended strategies into the South African market.
Access Bank is essentially owned, it's a Nigerian bank, via the acquisition. Now, there's so many Nigerian companies. Well, there's quite a handful of Nigerian companies that have come into South Africa in the last decade or more, and they haven't really done well. What will make the Access Bank South Africa story different? How will Access Bank be different?
Well, I think the difference lies in the fact that this is an existing established bank. It's not a startup operation. It's not a Nigerian company starting a business in South Africa with not much of a existing brand recognition and so forth, and no existing brand recognition across the continent. So if I'm a Nigerian living in South Africa, I immediately recognize the Access Bank brand. If I'm a Zambian living in South Africa, Access Bank has a presence in Zambia. You've mentioned some of the other countries where Access Bank has presence: Cameroon, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Ghana. Sorry, there are many countries where Access Bank. So all those nationals working and living in South Africa sees Access Bank as a credible brand and recognizes the brand. So immediately, it's much easier for those customers to bank with Access Bank, and they will immediately experience the benefits of transmitting money to their relatives living in the rest of the continent from a South African perspective. Suddenly, a Nigerian living and working in South Africa can transfer money to their relatives living and working in Nigeria by using Access Bank's bank account, same bank, same everything, money being transferred. So that simplifies banking and simplifies doing business. The same with corporate, it's highly creditable and recognized and loved across the African continent. You've made the point of being the world's most respected African bank, and that starts at home, that starts in Africa. Before we can be the world's most respected African bank, we have to be Africa's most respected African bank. And those seeds have been planted. So That, in my view, is a big advantage of the Access Bank story and Access Bank's initiative to acquire an existing bank in South Africa.
Now, in terms of Access Bank, you will be banking, you've said you will be banking the diaspora, the migrant community, and all of that. But what steps will you be taking in order to attract these groups? Do you have a strategy in which you're going to use to reach out to this almost sometimes forgotten group?
Look, absolutely. I mean, you need a strategy is a collective of so many specific initiatives. You obviously need a physical infrastructure. So we can open branches in close proximity where a number of these migrant communities live and work to establish the brand presence. We want to offer them state-of-the-art digital onboarding processes and capabilities so that they can easily onboard, through mobile or smart devices. We then want to offer them simple products that would make it easy to transact across various jurisdictions and countries. Then there's obviously marketing involved. Marketing campaigns are critical in the banking space, especially in the consumer space, where we need to create the awareness of this new bank. And our marketing teams, both the South African team and the group team in Lagos, are doing phenomenal work to establish that brand presence in South Africa. And then it's a matter of delivering on our promises. If we want to be the world's most respected African bank, we need to deliver. That's part of the DNA of Access Bank, is delivery, speed of delivery, speed of providing solutions, customer satisfaction. And that's some of the common themes between Access Bank Group and Legacy Grobank and Access Bank South Africa. We share that absolute dedication to customer satisfaction and to provide solutions to customers. I don't want to use the words often because it's really used in a negative context, but there's an obsession with customer satisfaction. And if we can't install those same disciplines in South Africa, I mean, it's a very competitive environment, as I mentioned in the past. We will battle to be successful, but that's the only way which will be successful. So physical presence, digital onboarding capabilities, a targeted marketing strategy, and absolute obsession with delivery and meeting and achieving customer expectations.
Okay. Now, when they talk about banking, you've talked a lot about relationships, customer focused, engaging, being able to use technology to improve your services. Now, as you're aware, Bennie, there's an African diplomatic community in South Africa. Most of them are in Pretoria. Now, how would Access Bank South Africa, given that you're a Pan-African bank, you want to be the most respected African bank and the gateway, how would you be building relationships with the African diplomatic community?
Similarly, it's a relationship-driven initiative that we have to embark on. The relationships take time to be built and to strengthen, and you have to just be resilient and persist with explaining who you are, explaining the products and solutions that you can provide, and showing with both deeds as well as not so much words but deeds what difference you can make. So it would be a matter of, and it's like any relationship. If you meet somebody that you want to start a personal relationship with you have to spend time. You have to show that you care. You have to show that you're interested in satisfying and exceeding basic expectations. And similar in the business relationship, you have to spend time. You have to introduce yourself. You have to understand what are the needs of the specific that you engage with, and tailor-made products and solutions for them specifically. The solutions and products are not developed in fancy head offices in beautiful cities across the continent or across the world. Solutions and products are developed where you meet face to face with your customers, and where you customize and tailor products for their own needs and requirements. And that's where we want to be a little bit different to other banks that operate in South Africa.
Okay. And finally, we come to a very important question. In 2012, a sizable Nigerian business in the media industry named This Day entered South Africa. And This Day employed 300 South Africans and 20 Nigerians, one of whom was the managing editor. Does Access Bank have a plan to engage Nigerians on its workforce If so, which types of professionals would you be looking for and when?
So let me start off by saying that we will increase our staff base because the business will grow. We're looking at appointing, well, currently we have about 170 staff working for the bank. We would hope that by the end of next year, that staff base would have doubled as a minimum. Now, you employ people in customer-facing areas that are capable of serving the communities or the target markets. Now, if we're going to become a diaspora or migrant worker bank, or the leading diaspora migrant worker bank, of course, we'll have to appoint Nigerians and other African nationals to serve the communities. It depends on the size of the community and the requirements. So yes, we will appoint African citizens from various African countries to enable us to be that specific favored or leading or most respected migrant worker or diaspora bank in South Africa. So to answer your question, absolutely, I can't give you specific numbers. The same would apply to our commercial and corporate banking space as well. We want to be the primary bank of Nigerian businesses or Somalian businesses or Bangladeshi businesses for that matter. We have to appoint nationals that can engage with the customers in a familiar language, in a comfortable environment without sounding threatening. I mean, we don't understand always, although South Africa is quite in tune to cultural diversity and religious diversity and language diversity, because we're such a diverse country. But I don't necessarily understand all the cultural beliefs and what's seen as acceptable or not, hand signs or body language when I engage with an African citizen. And the best way to do that is to appoint nationals in your business that can engage with whatever national in a comfortable, familiar, safe, secure, non-threatening environment. And hopefully that will be successful. I've always been a firm believer that profitability is the result of doing the right thing. It's if profit motive is your sole driver, you'll never be successful. But if you're doing the right thing, you show that you care, you show that you want to make a difference, and you're a decent, respectful human being, no reason why you can't be successful.
Thank you very much, Bennie and Rooy, CEO of Access Bank South Africa. Congratulations on your acquisition, and also for your group MD, Herbert Wigwe, on being the African Bank of the Year. Thank you for coming to Afrospace. We look forward to interviewing you again in the future, perhaps maybe in 6 months or 1 year, when you would have bedded down some of these plans that you have. And from me, Adetunji, I'll say, Odabo, Kachifo, Segobe.
And I would say, tot ziens, geniet die middag en Samaya Sentle.
Fantastic.